welcome to learning more about how to become your own matchmaker. My name is Jacqueline Nichols, and I am the proud founder and creator of Intuitive Matchmaking, where we get to be able to match people on a very private and personal basis. We are now giving you an opportunity to learn, grow, and be inspired to become your own matchmaker. Aren't you getting excited? You've had a chance to watch 2 of our videos, and we really would love to get your feedback and your comments. We want to know how to make sure everything we share with you is the best it possibly can be. So let's get started on our third topic. Our third topic is on how to be unforgettable, how to be memorable, how to be the person that stands out when the person you want to meet has lots of other distractions and options. How to move from being in this first, second date kind of unknown status to be feeling like you're moving towards a relationship. This isn't the easy part, but it can be the most fun part. It's going to take your discipline, it's going to take your commitment, and it's going to take you raising your deserved level. It really does come down to your desire to have and be the person that the other person wants, but also for you to be clear on what you want. From our other videos, we've already discussed a lot of these parts of the topics, so we're going to dive in right now about the actual dating process. So when you get to that point where you're actually going to go on a date, you feel safe, you feel like you know the person well enough to spend time with them, you picked a location, and you are priming up for that first meeting. I highly recommend you have phone conversations before you go on your first date. Texting has overtaken us. It has made us think that this is the way to do things, but really, honestly, it's not. It's important to build a human relationship because you actually want a human connection. You have tons of friends and family to text with all the time, but to have the person you want to spend and have a relationship with, that person needs to believe in what you have to offer as someone that connects them at a heart level. To start building chemistry, it has a lot to do with the voice. It has a lot to do with the inflection in your tone. It has a lot to do with how you respond to things that they say. So make sure you start off with a nice phone conversation. Recently, I just matched 2 amazing singles, and then I received an email follow-up from her right afterwards to let me know that they had just had their first phone conversation. They talked for almost an hour, and she's so excited for when they get to go on their first date. They both have some plans already on their calendar, so it's going to take a week before they meet. But the energy, the excitement, and the enthusiasm is building between the 2 of them. This is crucial. It is so important to become like this package that's sitting there, ready for you to unwrap, ready for you to discover. But it can't happen unless you do the work. To be that person, be the person that leaves the other one wanting more. So many people just jump right in and lay it all out there, like I've said before. But when it comes to that first date, the build-up and the anticipation is what is going to build up enough to get them to want to discover more about you. And almost like a hunger, where even one date isn't enough. So we built that excitement, we built the thought process. And I want you to think, as I'm talking about this, how many times you've skipped the first phone conversation on a date, courtship process. Maybe more times than you'd like to admit, but this is important for you to become very aware of. Remember, you only have one chance for a first impression. I can tell you I do beg and plead a lot of clients to go for a second date because I know that the first one they were really nervous on. But why should you have to take those extra steps? And if you don't have us as your matchmaking agency and you're doing this on your own, you need to take full advantage of the first date opportunity, because you don't have one of us calling and begging your date to go out again because you were too nervous, you weren't prepared, you didn't have yourself in the right mindset. Whatever things that you need to apologize for, you're going to do it yourself. So let's make your first date your best date. Think about your first date as your last first date. Don't put pressure on yourself for that, but allow yourself the opportunity, the possibility, the unknown of the option. Then what if it is? So many times when we match people, it only takes us 1 to 5 introductions, and most of the time they find their match. So it's really an amazing privilege. It's an amazing chance Amazing possibility. But I can tell you there's a whole lot of first dates that bombed because the other person wasn't in the right mindset. You want to be in a mindset that makes you think about longevity. What I find happens a lot is people go on dates. They go on a date with the expectation that, well, we'll just see. Maybe it'll work, maybe it won't work. So when you're on this first date, it is so important to pause and breathe and let yourself kind of get your heartbeat to calm down, catch up with everything. Think about the things that you need to learn about this person. Think about the things that you want to share with them. And then, this sounds kind of funny, but now throw that all out the window. The reason I say that is you will naturally have information that comes to you and you'll naturally share. But when you get so caught up in all those things you've got to say and not say and discover and disclose and make it this big, huge thing, it becomes like you're having an interview. I always say to everybody, do not have an interview. This is not a job that you're trying to hire someone for. You're not looking for someone that you want to go to work. You want to have somebody you want to come home from work to. So what you're going to be doing is an inner view. Look inside the person. Don't get distracted by their hair color or their teeth or how they pick up their fork at the table or how they talk to everybody, how they talk to you. Get to know them as a person. Hear about their goals, their dreams, their aspirations. What are you sharing with them that will make them curious to know more about you? The reality is very important that I want you to really understand. We have a lot of times people come and complain to us saying, they didn't ask me enough questions. They didn't ask enough about what I like to do. They talked and talked and talked. Well, first and foremost, you were present at that table. You could have spoken up. You need to have your own voice. You need to speak and understand that a lot of times people will not ask a lot because they're waiting for you to interject. They're nervous and don't want to sound nosy. The other part is you already know you. Your job is to figure out them. So don't worry about if they talk too much. Now, if by third and fourth date they're still over talking and you don't speak up, well, that's shame on you. But if you do speak up and they're over talking, well, then maybe they really just need to go to therapy and have a professional listen to them. What's important is that you give them a chance to get comfortable with this very vulnerable, raw, emotional place of pretty much saying, hi, I'm single and available, and are you going to reject me or are you going to be interested in me? We're putting ourselves in such raw emotions when we sit across the table from somebody brand new. Both of you saying, I want to find love. But you don't want to look stupid. You don't want to be scared and nervous or say something that you'll regret. And you're wondering if they're feeling good about you too. So this is where you got to make it fun. You got to be silly. I'll tell you, one of the top requests is a sense of humor. Somebody that can laugh and lighten the load of life. Even if you're somewhat of a serious person, this is where you got to get your giggle on. You got to get your laughter on. You've got to get that spark. You got to get that extra. Just something that makes people go, oh my gosh, I got to tell you the joke that my date said. The funny thing we did, or how your comeback was quick. Maybe it was something silly that happened and you just had a funny response to it that got the subject more on life and laughter, because it has to be fun to date you. It has to be an exciting experience to date you. It has to be positive to date you. You don't want to be the wet blanket. You don't want to be the tired one that the person goes, God, I feel like I need a nap after that date. This sounds weird to say because people don't think about it. But truthfully, it happens so much. People leave a date and they're just kind of drained. And it's because the other person didn't bring any life. They're angry at dating. They're angry that they're single. They're angry at their ex. And it totally just like fell over like volcanic ash, just spreading everywhere. You do not want to be the one that leaves the hot lava all over. You want to be the one that the person feels lighter and fresher and more alive because they got time with you. Whether it's just the subtlety of you tilting your head and smiling and smirking and winking appropriately. It's leaning over and touching them on their knee, touching them on their arm, touching them on their hand because they're reaching for the salt. It's about being present. It's about thinking, could this be that moment? Could it be the chance to be with the person for the rest of my life? Could I let go of all my fears, all my disappointments, all of those rejections? Because now is the time. Now is the moment that I've been given to move forward from my past. Is this that person? Is this that person? Well, you won't know until you try, until you discover, and until you're willing to get out of your own way. I highly recommend you come with 2 to 3 date options for the next couple of dates so that you two can talk about other things to do. When people start to realize being in a relationship is going to give them something extra to their life, they're more likely to let their guard down and start opening up to what it would mean like to be with somebody. It's not easy to shift from being single and protective and in charge of your own things all the time to then being in a place where you're saying, hey, I'm vulnerable, I'm raw, and by the way, I think you're kind of cute. It's a big shift, and we want to encourage you and support you, inspire you and guide you to be able to believe a little extra. So the challenge for this video is for you to come up with 2 to 3 fun date ideas that you want to do that are light and easy. Whether it's going to a farmer's market, it's going to a local play, it's going to something extra, something fun, something inviting, something inspiring, something that would be creative. Maybe it's a hike. Maybe you're going to go to a cooking class. But come up with 2 or 3 ideas. Really think about them. And then as we wrap this up, I want you to stop and think about one more thing. How do you start dates and how have you been ending dates? I want you to really be honest because this is you writing your own notes. How do you start and how do you end? Then you can know what energy you're doing, how you're going to shift that, and get ready. We're going to be on to our 4th free video. And I'm excited and I'm honored and I am privileged to continue sharing these tips with you. And I can hardly wait for you to be able to see the next video. Thank you for being an inspiration to believe in love again.